Breaking news, Manscaped now sells beard products.
No way.
Yes way. They are once again revolutionizing men's grooming with the brand new Beard Hedger. Now you can finally use Manscaped products to make your drapes match your carpet by going to manscaped.com and using the code DORMDebate to get 20% off and free shipping.
It all starts with the Beard Hedger. This thing is a juggernaut of fixing faces. First off, this cordless trimmer has a rotary wheel that gives you 20 hair cutting lengths, all with one guard, so no more messy drawers full of extra add-ons. While the Beard Hedger is made for any length, it has a special feature for all my bald-faced boys out there. The Hedger has a built-in advanced lift comb technology that allows for a smoother, complete shave.
With 20 lengths at just one stroke of the trimmer, it has never been so easy to look this dreamy. Your face is your first impression, and your beard is your most important accessory, so make sure you have the right tool for the job with the Beard Hedger. The company that helped reduce nicks and cuts on your special place has come to save your face.
So get 20% off and free shipping with the code DORMDebate at manscaped.com. That's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com and use the code DORMDebate. Manscaped Beard Hedger. One stroke, one guard, 20 lengths.
Let's talk about the Cowboys. If you want to get into the coaching stuff now, Jared, you brought up the Cowboys, and it reminded me of Kellen Moore and Dak, and kind of we talked about it a little bit ago.
Yeah, let's get to some of the coaching changes.
Especially Jonathan.
Yeah, today is so it's Wednesday when we're filming this, and
the first
a lot of coaching news. Obviously, Tom Brady retired. We can get to that later, but I want to go through some of the coaching changes, most notable ones, not every single one, but the notable ones. Carolina Panthers get Frank Reich, who was the former Colts head coach from this year. Cool facts about him. He was the first QB in Panthers history. He was the first quarterback to start in 1995.
Wow.
So it kind of goes full circle. He's back with the Panthers. On the same note, Houston Texans signed DeMeco Ryans, former 49ers defensive coordinator. He was also a former Texans linebacker. He's also second in tackles in Houston Texans history.
That's
another
crazy.
Full circle player turned coach now. We go to the Denver Broncos. They traded to get Sean Payton from the Saints. The Saints acquired a first-round pick for this year, a second-round pick for next year, and the Broncos received a third pick for next year. So Denver Broncos get Sean Payton. And then lastly, a couple coordinator news. Jonathan, you're going to hate this one. Kellen Moore signed as the offensive coordinator of the Chargers, formerly the Cowboys offensive coordinator. And then Nathaniel Hackett hired as the offensive coordinator for the Jets. Going back to the Panthers, today they also signed the Lions running back coach, Deuce Staley. Apparently he was a favorite. He was a favorite in Hard Knocks.
Yeah,
he was a favorite for the Eagles, coach when Peterson left. A lot of players really liked him.
Oh, okay. So he just signed with the Panthers. So
for offensive coordinator.
They don't know yet. His title is unknown. But back with the Lions this year, he was running back coach. So he could be in kind of the same. He was running back / assistant head coach. But I heard that he was a big personality on Hard Knocks, but I didn't watch it, so I figured you watched it.
Yeah, I did. His best scene was when he lost his voice and he was yelling at his running backs. It's funny. He's trying to yell, but he couldn't hear.
I remember players loved him on the Eagles, and I think that was around our Super Bowl era, so he might have played a part in that.
So Frank Reich is the head coach now, so he probably was like, "Oh, I remember this guy from the Eagles. Let's try and get him."
Frank Reich's a great coach. Said this for when he left the Colts. I think Frank Reich will go in that pile of coaches, not to be derogatory in that sense, but more like great coaches who just kind of are at a place a little too long, need to step away, and then go to a new place and start fresh. I mean, Peterson, Reed, I think Reich will be up there. So
and he's a player's coach. A lot of players like him. I remember Sirianni this year, right after Frank got fired. They beat the Colts or something. And he's like that win was for Frank.
Yeah, he was yelling at the Colts fans.
Crazy.
I mean, we've talked about that before, but Frank Reich was a great coach, but just never went through like 5 years of a quarterback carousel, and it was still pretty good for the record that he had, and still making the playoffs despite those issues. So the Panthers' future's bright. They see a quarterback.
I like the Panthers right now, what they're doing. They need to continue it in the offseason for me, but again, like you were just saying, his problem at the Colts was the coaching carousel. Couldn't find a quarterback.
Yeah.
Kind of in the same boat this year. You have Darnold, you have Matt Corral, you have Baker. That's the quarterbacks that you
Not
have on the
Baker
team.
anymore.
Oh, Baker's gone. So Matt Corral, Sam Darnold.
Which Darnold could have a renaissance.
You could rock with Darnold and probably win your division. Granted that Tom Brady just left, and you're gonna have what?
It's true.
Blaine Gabbert or Kyle Trask starting there,
One
and
of
then
the most insecure quarterback divisions right now in the NFL.
yeah, it's terrible. So like you probably could win the division with Sam Darnold, but you're definitely not winning a playoff game with him. So
I don't
they
know,
could
bro.
go to the draft. They could get C.J. Stroud or one of these other quarterbacks. But
Well, the thing with Frank Reich, certain coaches, once they step into a team, they change the culture, they change the attitude, and they make an impact. Frank Reich is not one of those coaches. The Panthers are still gonna suck. Unfortunately, Panthers
Yeah,
fans,
I
Carolina
agree
fans,
with that.
they're still gonna suck. Unless they draft a superstar talent.
Yeah,
Then
I agree.
Reich's
But
also a quarterback coach. Like,
they're
he
the
was a
favorite
former
to win the
quarterback.
division, though.
He's a great quarterback. Like he could, if there's
I
anyone.
know, but
like Peterson with Lawrence.
Yeah, but Reich
with
had
Darnold, it's
had his
possible.
chance with Rivers, and he had his chance with Wentz, and he had his chance with Matt Ryan. So you had I know
They're
they're
all 1
veteran
years,
guys,
though.
but still.
Yeah, they're all. Yeah, I think that's the difference.
I would.
They're all
I
like
want to
1 year
see.
carousels.
I want to see him draft quarterback, but I just don't think his best bet is to get C.J. Stroud, and I don't know.
But if you're a
he's
GM, would
a
you
great
really trust
quarterback.
him? If you're a
Would you really
GM,
trust
you'd
him?
really be like, all right, Frank
Reich
Reich,
or
I'm going to
Darnold?
give all my team, like, you make the decision of who you want to draft, and like,
Well, actually, right now, the decisions are with the GM, and then Frank is kind of like coaching and developing. So the GM actually has more of a say with the Panthers, as far as I know. So it's kind of like a mix. Like I remember Matt Rule, the reason he didn't work out was because he was trying to have his hand in everything and manage everything. And this is more like Frank knows his role, the GM knows his role, and they're going to try and coexist together. And with Frank, we haven't seen a guy stay more than 1 year. Like I would love to see him with a young quarterback. It sucks that this year, even with free agents and like, Derek Carr's up for grabs, the ceiling with Derek Carr. Frank knows that if you get a guy who's a veteran, maybe on his on the way down, it's not going to be good. So I think he's going to want to draft a quarterback or develop Matt Corral. But the problem is your best bet is getting C.J. Stroud unless you trade up. So again, you're in this situation of we need to find a quarterback, which he seems to always be in.
right. But he's actually in a good situation because, like you said before, he's in the NFC. He's in the NFC South. It's not that tough of a division. He's going to have this job for at least 3 or 4 years. Like this is as piece of a cake as a job as you can get. You can't really do that bad. How bad can you do in the
And this
worse
defense,
division?
their defense is very good.
Yeah,
Their defense with J.C. Horn.
I mean, they almost made
Jeremy
the playoffs. If they beat the Bucks,
that's
that
what I'm
one
saying.
game.
Makes me think the GM isn't like I'm not familiar with who they are, but like they, the Panthers in terms of the talent they have over time, like they seem to make the right. Like Jonathan, you're saying the head coaching job is so hard that you see like a guy like Hackett. I'm not familiar with him personally, obviously, but people were saying like to go from a coordinator to a coach is just so much more of an apparatus that you have to take care of. So him going to the coordinator position with the Jets in terms of Hackett makes you think like you got to get out of the head coaching Hackett and go back to what got him into the head coaching job, which was like maybe a coordinator position. So that, the Jets could do well with that. And he was I think with Rodgers, for a little bit. So Hackett was. So with Reich going to the Panthers and specializing in coaching and not, giving, if the GM is worth their salt, I think the Panthers can be scary in 2 years. I don't know if you'll see, if they keep Darnold, I don't know if you'll see a turnaround as quickly as you did with Lawrence and Peterson. But Frank Reich's a quarterback coach, so if maybe you'll see something special with Darnold if there's something there. I don't know, or Corral.
Yeah, from a Frank Reich perspective, this is a great opportunity, like John and Jared and Caleb were saying. But from the GM perspective, I probably would have kept on searching for another coach because this guy, based on his history, I don't.
Yeah, take a
fully
chance
trust him
on
to lead this
somebody
team.
else. I would take a chance on somebody else.
He's such a good coach, though.
He also it just fits right. But wait, if we were to grade these like A, B, C, D, F, what would you guys grade that?
Which one?
I would grade
Frank
it.
Reich?
Yeah, I would grade it an A.
Yeah, I do.
C plus, B minus.
I'd
maybe?
say B plus, just because the quarterback's a little iffy, but he is able to do it. So you don't want to get into another carousel. I don't think it's Frank Reich's doing, but I'd give it a B.
I'd give it a C minus and barely pass because it's better than nothing. I mean, he has some history in coaching.
Oh boy.
Might as well take it.
Oh jeez.
How about Sean Payton and the Denver Broncos?
That's an A.
That's an A.
That's an A.
Yeah,
That's
I mean,
an A.
it's kind
Caleb?
of crazy. Oh, Caleb, you can go ahead.
Give it like a right. I'll give it a B minus.
I would give it an A minus.
Yeah, I mean, I'm curious to hear your thoughts because it's crazy. I don't know if I've ever experienced a coach being traded, so it's definitely weird
Yeah.
to see
I was
like,
gonna add
a
for
coach being
context to-
traded for a first-round pick, second-round pick.
I was going to add to my understanding for context is when Sean Payton retired, he was still like a year or two on his contract for head coaching. So you can retire whenever, but if you were to enter the league, you would be under that contract. So because of this, you can apparently trade head coaches. So it shows that the Denver Broncos really want him, which is why they had to instead of
But
just
what don't you like about the trade? Is it what they gave up, or is it you don't think it's a good fit?
I'm curious to see how the fit is. So I respect Sean Payton working with Breeze a lot, and they're great coach too. And this is the other. I was like, there's someone else I'm thinking of. Him stepping away from the game for a little bit to go back into it could be another one of those coaches that just gets stale at one place, and then he never really went stale at the Saints. He just got terrible situations.
Bounty gate.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
I mean,
I
talk
mean,
about officiating
was-
ruin a game.
That was his
The
coordinator.
one where they never called.
Yeah.
Well, the one against the Rams, they never called that blatant pass interference. That's officiating of determining a game. More than in a lot of other places. But no, I've said the whole season that you don't see a drop with Wilson the way you do barring something wild that we don't know. I think Wilson is still Russell Wilson. So all these people like dogging him, I don't think it's fair. So anyone who could redeem it and do a lot with it, get him back up to speed is a guy like Sean Payton. It's just Drew Brees is a lot different than Wilson, and Wilson having that year with the Broncos, like how will he rebound? So it might be a bit of a rebuild, a little bit for the next year or two.
Well, yeah,
But I'm
feel-
excited by it. I do think it's a good fit. I'm just more curious and a little cautious more than I am with the Frank Wright one we just talked about.
Yeah, well, I mean, for me, it's tough to give up a first-round pick this year for a coach, for one, and on top of the fact that you gave up a lot of picks for Russell Wilson.
But
But
It just seems like they're grabbing at
Yeah, but what
let's
do the
get Russell
Broncos
Wilson,
need?
we'll throw everything.
But what do the
And it's
Broncos
a
need?
lot. They need a
They
lot.
don't
They're-
need that
they're-
much. Their
Their
defense,
defense
good.
is set.
Okay, so
Their
what?
defense
okay,
is set.
So what do they need?
But
Okay,
that
well,
offense is atrocious.
What do they need on
That
offense?
offense.
What do they need on offense?
How about a receiver that can stay healthy, a running back that can stay healthy, a very solid and catchable tight end that can catch on third
have
down? Like they
Dulcich.
need so much.
They have Dulcich,
the draft's
Sutton,
Dulcich is good,
Judy,
but-
Javonte Williams. Okay,
I think Jared
Yeah.
has a
you can
point.
get
Like,
one
they don't
more
need-
piece, but
So-
that,
all those guys didn't play the whole season.
They don't need a
you're acting
superstar,
like
they
they
just need a
need
decent
like
player.
you're acting like they need all these picks. They're only
Yeah.
one or two pieces away.
Exactly.
I don't
No,
know.
that's what we said
I agree
last
with-
year.
I agree
And-
with you.
And the
I
thing
mean,
is,
but they
what
got
we said
hurt.
last
But they
year.
got hurt.
And the thing is,
Exact. That's what I just said.
and the thing is,
I know, but you can't
read-
predict them getting hurt.
I think
But
it
there
makes
are
more sense.
injury-prone
Jared
people.
fundamentally.
That's just how the world
Okay,
works.
so Chargers.
They have injury-prone
okay.
receivers.
So Chargers
Now
need
they have less
to
picks.
draft two receivers. Mike,
I'm not talking about the Chargers. I'm
I
talking
know.
about the Broncos. We made the playoffs. They didn't.
Yeah,
Bro,
I
the
mean,
fact
no,
of the matter is that the Broncos are grabbing at the best they could possibly get and giving away their future. They better hope and pray that this works, because how many years does Russell Wilson have? How many years does Sean Payton have? If this doesn't work, they're screwing themselves for 10 years plus.
I know, but don't you
Or just
agree with the
logistically out of
decision to
picks.
get a Super Bowl winning coach?
No, I agree.
Yeah,
that's
that's
why I
the
gave it
thing.
an A minus. The
No.
the minus is what you were
But-
asking. Why'd
oh,
you give it a minus?
'cause
It's
they're
we
giving
gave
up
up
too
a lot
much.
for Sean Payton. They gave up a lot for Russell Wilson, and they need to fill a lot of roles. People think that they're
lot?
a quarterback away.
You don't need to
People
fill a
thought
lot
they
of
were
roles.
people thought they were a quarterback away
Yeah.
last year.
You guys remember?
And they got their quarterback.
No, the
and
coach
they were
sucked,
dead last.
okay?
The coach
So now,
sucked.
okay,
That's
now
fine.
it's the
The
coach.
sucked. We
Now,
saw it on
now
the
they
first
get a
game.
new coach.
I think
Get
that's
a new
big
coach.
part of it.
Let's
I
see.
think that's a big part of it. But Wilson's struggles last season, or this season, I guess, still, where a lot of it was a lot of different things going wrong. So you could attribute a lot of that to the head coach. But I think Jared has a fundamental point of you gotta. I mean, you're gonna need some playmakers for sure, and it's a big risk, high reward. I don't know. It's a good pairing. I do like Peyton, Russell Wilson. They can work something, but you're giving away more picks. Like you just it feels to me a little bit like, without going too deep into the logic of it, but like trying to buy victory as fast as possible, and to an extent. You gotta. I mean, how many seeds are they planning to reap later? You get into that territory a little bit, but this is a very good pairing, more so than with an unproven Hackett. And I still am a fan of Wilson. I still think he has a lot in the tank. So we'll just see how that works. But I think
I like the pairing. If I'm the Broncos,
it's a great pairing.
It's best case scenario. Yeah. You have a veteran quarterback and a proven coach that can win. You have both of those things. This makes sense. The Nathaniel Hackett thing felt forced to me. So it makes sense. It does. But I'm just saying, if it doesn't work, they are in a hole like you wouldn't believe, and the Broncos won't be out of it, just like they did with Peyton
But at least
Manning.
they're taking chances. You have to commend them for at least doing something. I know you're saying,
if
this doesn't work, but also,
I'm just saying,
like,
you're trading a first pick. You're trading a lot of picks for Russell Wilson.
But
you're trading a lot of future assets.
There's been very good third, fourth, fifth round receivers.
Exactly.
There's great third,
fourth. Sure,
so
there definitely is. Yeah, they could. I could win $1 million on a scratch off tomorrow. But right now, if you look at this team, if you look at it right at this moment,
if you look at your bank
there
account
are holes.
Now, there's holes.
I think it's more impactful. I actually like the idea of trading a coach, as long as he's like a good coach like Sean Payton. Trading him for players, I think that's more impactful, and that gives you more value as an organization than just trading players back and forth. Because again, Sean Payton's going to go there and change the culture from day one. The team's going to
How crazy would that be if if the team was like, hey, we just traded for Bill Belichick. He's going to be your co-head.
Exactly. That makes
That'd be ridiculous.
How much would you take to give Belichick away?
Pay billions of dollars. Couldn't be players.
Broncos had no players or no picks that were worth as much as Payton. I think this was a win for them. And like John said, all you need is a third, fourth round pick, fifth round pick, or somebody, a running back. That's probably going to be decent. Okay, you have most pieces there. Your defense is good. As long as your defense is good and your offense can score some more points.
Yeah, exactly. All they need to do is score a little bit more points than last year, and they're going to be good.
A little bit.
Yes.
They were the worst offenses in NFL history. All they need to do is do a little bit better.
They're going to need a lot.
Win, though.
No, they don't need to do that much better.
For context, I looked it up just now. So after the trade with Peyton, after trading for Sean Payton, they have 5 picks left in the upcoming NFL draft. They have 2 in round 3, 1 in round 4, round 5, and round 6.
That's plenty. 2 third rounds?
That's fine.
That's good.
That's fine, yeah.
What about
67 and 68?
What about the Houston Texans? DeMeco Ryans, former 49ers defensive coordinator. He was definitely the most highly sought after coordinator for head coaching job. Now the former guy was the Jets head coach. I can't remember his name. The Jets head coach
Robert Saleh
this year. Saleh was also the 49ers defensive coordinator.
Yeah.
So it seems like you get put in this position, you're going to get a head coaching job. So
Shanahan's coaching tree is already really it's pretty amazing.
It's incredible. I personally, I don't know too much about him, just to be transparent. It seems like a good fit to me. It's kind of like the Frank Reich. It seems like he's a former player who loves the team, wants to make the team better. You're going in, you're going to get Bryce Young. It's already set and done. They also have the 12th pick in the draft. It just feels like, new coach, new quarterback. They have a cornerback in Derek Stingley who's definitely going to be a star. You develop Dameon Pierce. He's going to be a star. There's a lot of great things. Even though this team was near last, they have a lot of bright spots, like way more than I thought they would. So if you can get a great receiver to pair up with Bryce Young, and DeMeco, he probably is going to need a quarterback coach that's good or an offensive coordinator that's good. So because I don't think he can coach a quarterback. But if he can develop Bryce Young, then there's a lot of bright spots. I give this like a A- again.
Sometimes in coaching is about the situation, the circumstance that you find yourself in. That's why a lot of Houston Texans fans were kind of upset in terms of Lovie Smith getting fired. Because yes, they had a bad season, but they didn't have really much players. They didn't have a good quarterback. This
Lovie
upcoming
sucks
draft,
doo-doo flakes, and you know it.
If they get Bryce, he just had 2 years. If they get Bryce Young, that's going to change things, and DeMarco Ryan's going to get credit for it. That's just how he's going to get credit for it. Bryce Young, again, I've seen it. I've seen him play. He has NFL talent. Okay, think of the Mahomes of the world, the Allens of the world, the Burrows of the world. He actually understands the game. He knows who's supposed to get the ball. He's always going to find that open guy. He has a talent, and he's going to be great. And DeMarco Ryan's going to get the credit for it. Lovie Smith would have got credit for it if he was a coach. And so DeMarco Ryan's lucky to be in this position. It's great that he used to be on the Houston Texans. That helped his
DeMeco
case.
Ryan?
Yeah,
DeMeco
whatever
Ryans.
his name is.
D'Amico.
DeMeco.
I mean, keep sliding it in, but D'Amico.
DeMeco Ryan. Yeah. And so he's in a great
There's
position.
an S at the
And
end.
yeah, DeMeco Ryan.
yes.
Okay. Oh, thanks,
But you're
guys.
saying we're all going to know his name really well in the upcoming years, is
Yes,
what you're saying.
we're gonna know his name really well.
No, but
This
the
is your
thing that
bit.
you
You were
guys are
getting this
he has
forgetting.
that same mentality. And look, he reminds me of a great Salah, right? He used to be on the 49ers. Great defense. He's going to make
That's
sure the defense
okay.
is
Yes,
good,
thank you.
strong.
Balls.
Thank you for
It's gonna
bringing
have
that
Bryce
up.
Young on the other side.
That's a
Bryce
problem.
Young's going to be able to score some points. This is going to be a different
No.
team, guys.
This is what you guys are forgetting. You, Jonathan, why didn't you see this? You usually bring this up. He's not an offensive-minded coach. So what you're going to do, okay, you take a defensive coordinator, you put him on a new team, then you draft the best quarterback from Alabama, and you put him in quarterback, and you say, all right, defensive coordinator, go make this rookie a really good passing guy. It's
That's
not
what I'm
going to
saying.
happen.
He's got to get
What
a
happened to Deshaun Watson?
coordinator.
Okay,
smart
yes, yes.
coordinator.
Who was the
Jared's
coordinator
right.
for Deshaun Watson? Who's the coordinator for Deshaun Watson when he got drafted by the Texans?
Who was it?
I don't know.
I don't
can't
know
remember.
either.
You know what I'm saying?
Pretty much
If you're good, you can find a
Well,
way.
the head
You're-
coach was Bill O'Brien.
Yeah,
he's
he's
an offensive
offensive.
coordinator.
Bill O'Brien wasn't good. That's why people.
But he was an
He's
offensive coordinator.
No,
you just-
it
I
doesn't
just
matter if
gave
he's
you
good
what
or
you
not.
wanted.
It doesn't matter if he's good or
I
not.
just
He's an
gave you what you
offensive
wanted.
mind. He's an offensive mind.
Okay, you can literally take any offensive coordinator and make Bryce Young good.
Okay, all right. Wait, tell me
Bill
how
O'Brien wasn't that great.
how good Robert Saleh did a defensive mind with Zach Wilson. How'd he do?
He didn't have a good offensive coordinator.
Okay, that's a fair point. So now let's see who gets hired as offensive
And
coordinator.
the thing
Because
is-
now
but the thing is-
D'Amico Ryans does nothing. All he does is make a hire. He can't do
But the
anything
thing-
for
but the
success
thing
of Bryce.
is, Zach
Bryce Young.
Wilson is no Bryce Young. Bryce Young is talented. People just saw Zach Wilson's pro day. He had a great pro day, great footballs, beautiful footballs. I've seen this guy played over and over again. I'm not saying it because he went to Alabama.
Yes, you are.
His receivers weren't that great this year. He finds the open man. This guy understands the game. He's
He
gonna
didn't
change
even
the
win his
team,
division.
Okay. It's not his guys. It's a team game. You can't blame it on him.
All right.
He made plays
I'm
when he
just
could.
trying to bust your
Let me just
chops.
say-
We're not going to get into Alabama's
Yeah,
record
but
or anything.
I'm saying D'Amico Ryan. I'm not saying he's great, but I'm
Ryans.
saying he finds Ryan. He finds himself in the best situation possible. So I'm gonna give this. I'm giving this an A-, I guess.
I'm giving this a
It's
C.
all about
Flat out
situation.
C.
Yeah.
What? Okay. And
Just-
Caleb?
I'll give it a B. I do like I know D'Amico Ryans actually as when he was an Eagle. And so when you said, as you pointed out correctly, second in tackles in Houston Texans history is like he was with the Eagles for a few years. So considering that he is the second most, I mean, again, Texans, I wasn't fully aware of it, but looking up, they are one of the newer teams in the NFL, I think starting in 2002. But still, like to have, I think he had 3 years with the Eagles or something like that. Like to be second tackles in most is huge. So I think it's going to be a boon to their defense. And again, like y'all said, depending if he's calling offensive plays or not, that kind of some head coaches don't, So I think if you have a good defense and you get the right pieces of the Texans, I mean, Dameon Pierce is going to be awesome. So they don't waste him. I'll give it a B just because I don't know him personally as what his style of what direction fundamentally in terms of identity the Texans will be. But I would say the future's bright, and I think this is a long-term decision I hope they stick with because the Texans put up a good fight towards the end of the season last year. Even when they were out, they had some
Oh my
fight in
God.
them, which
They
is
took
what you
the
got.
Chiefs to the brink, the Cowboys
Yeah.
to the brink. I
You
mean,
can't teach that. That's just hunger,
Yeah.
So good for that team there.
Yeah. And Lovie Smith still got fired. Nobody knows why.
That's so it's so dumb. I think.
did you
even-
hear the conspiracy that Davis Mills and Lovie Smith were like, look, this last game we're going into, they're gonna fire us. So why don't we screw
Exactly.
them over and
That's
win
what
this
happened.
game?
That was the
That's
best. That
probably
was
it.
the best win he gave the Bears of his career. That was the best win he gave the Bears.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I
honestly,
mean,
we think Houston Texans are getting Bryce Young, but the Chicago Bears,
Yeah.
if I were
Bears
them,
could
I'd get
trade
Bryce Young.
out.
I'd get Bryce
They-
Young.
They could.
I-
There'd been talk about that. There was a draft pick, mock
I
draft
doubt
with
it.
them getting a defensive tackle or something.
Will Anderson or that other guy from Georgia, but
Yeah.
let's go to the coordinators as we wrap up here.
Okay.
Los Angeles Chargers, desperately need an offensive coordinator. They got Kellen Moore literally like a day or two after he got fired from
Within
the
24
Cowboys.
hours,
That's so funny. They were just like waiting for him. I like it. I like it a lot. I personally wanted Greg Roman. I know people are gonna be like, "You're
not gonna
stupid.
fit.
Why would you want
Yeah.
Greg Roman? Like that's
He's not gonna fit with
But
this.
I just wanted someone who knew how to develop a run game. Like I just really want this run game to work out for us. And look, Kellen Moore is gonna basically do what we've been running, but 1,000 times better. I mean, I talked about it on the pre-show. Kellen Moore and Tony Pollard. He made Tony Pollard a star. Eckler is 10x better than Tony Pollard. So I can't even imagine
that's a bit of stretch.
the
No,
amount
come on.
Whoa.
of play
Okay,
calls
truth comes
that
out.
he is going to call for Austin Eckler. And not only that, but he brought Dak to the divisional round and made them a top 3 offense the past 3 years. I can't even comprehend what Herbert is going to do for Kellen Moore, because he's going to be like, oh, I had this playbook. This was one that we didn't touch because Dak couldn't make this throw. And Herbert's going to be like, what? I can make that throw. I can make that throw too. And we have Eckler over here, and we have Mike Williams right here, and we got Keenan Allen, and we got Josh Palmer. Like, we're set, guys. Like, we could do whatever we want. And like for me, Kellen
Moore's eyes are just gonna bulge.
he's gonna be like,
Whoa.
wait, you're telling me I could use this playbook? Yep. And this playbook too, plus 50-yard passes? Yep. You
That's
can use
so
that too.
disrespectful.
Wait, no way. Oh my God. And
Wow.
and not only that, but we have a good pick this year. First round, second round. I want a tight end that can catch the ball and block. Michael Mayers from Notre Dame. I want him. And then second round, I want Zach Charbonnet, UCLA. Broken tackle, north-south back. That's what I want, so that he can come in after Eckler. Or we can have them side by side. Kellen Moore's used to the bell cow of Ezekiel Elliott and the speedy receiving back of Tony Pollard. That's how his offense is going to work. So I hope they do that. And yeah, that should be enough to make the playoffs again. Hopefully we win that playoff game and not lose it, and we are on the upward trajectory. What do you guys think? I give this an A+.
Yeah, about that. As a Cowboys fan, I know the history of Kellen Moore. Okay, he was a backup quarterback for a few years. Then Dak was his buddy. He just came to the league, and Dak basically told the coaches, "Hey, make this guy my offensive coordinator, even though he's no experience as being an OC. Make this guy my offensive coordinator. He's my friend." That's what happened. Dak Prescott made Kellen Moore. So it's kind of funny that you say all this.
Sense.
Yeah, Dak Prescott made.
What
Kellen
does that
Moore.
mean, though?
He told the coaches, make him the offensive
Okay,
coordinator.
but what does
He's a
that have to do with
Honestly,
this?
any quarterback
Are you
can be
saying
offensive
that
coordinator.
Kellen Moore's not good then?
All I'm saying is reality is going to set in for him once he gets to the Chargers. It's not the same. Dak was his friend. Dak made him look a little good.
What was Cooper Rush's record? What is he, like 4-0? Dak wasn't on the field for that.
Yeah, I think the only game he lost was against the Eagles.
Yeah.
Cooper Rush might have been 4-1 or 5-1, something like that.
So that's Kellen Moore right there.
I think a lot of the offense Cowboys run they've been running for years. And again, any quarterback can be offensive coordinator. Okay, and so he got this job because of Dak's friend, and they game plan together and stuff. They're they're good close friends. I think reality's going to step in.
You're just mad that
Justin
he's
Herbert's
gone.
not the,
You're just mad
Justin
at him.
Herbert. Justin Herbert is not the same as Dak in the sense that
You're right. He's better.
Justin Herbert's going to look to him to say, "Hey, what play should I run? What play should I run?" He's not going to ask, "Hey, what advice do you have? Do you think this looks good?" And all that. Justin Herbert doesn't have time for that. He's all about execution. He's all about execution. He wants to win. He wants to just do his role. He doesn't want to have to sit with Kellen Moore all the time and offer these plays and stuff. Kellen Moore and Dak Prescott relationship was kind of they were both offensive coordinators essentially. Okay, they were both offensive coordinators if that makes sense. Okay, so all I'm saying is Kellen Moore is going to struggle a little bit this first year, especially with the Chargers. Reality's going to set in for him.
So what's your grade?
He isn't truly. Oh, yeah, good point. My grade is C-.
C
He's better than
minus.
nothing.
Oh, whoa.
He's better
Whoa.
than nothing. He's better than nothing, but at the same time, like, is this the best y'all could do? I mean, there's experienced offensive coordinators out there that are still looming. They should have tried their hardest to call Cliff Kingsbury, even though he said, "I'm not looking." Coach, they should have tried their best.
He's off to Japan. He's off to
he just needs
whatever
some time.
country with his girlfriend.
He needs some time. They should have waited a little bit because they just rushed into getting Kellen Moore in. I think they're going to regret that.
All right,
I honestly think the Chargers are going to grit that.
I think this is a flat
minus.
out A. I agree with Jared with most of what you said. I think
guys
they
will see.
they need somebody who can call plays for them to try to win and not play to not lose. I mean, you have to play to win in this league. They play not to
Yeah.
lose. So I think hopefully he can make that adjustment.
Why couldn't Cowboys score much points against the 49ers?
'Cause Dak
The number
sucks.
one defense. No, it's not Dak. Blame it on Kellen Moore.
Nope.
He couldn't
Yeah,
adjust.
you-
well
I
once
actually
Tony
When are
no.
you
You
gonna
know who I
blame
blame it
Dak?
on? I
Tony Pollard
blame
got
it
out.
on the whoever got rid of Amari Cooper. That's the fault. Because if you had Amari Cooper, you'd have won. You'd be in the Super Bowl right now.
Don't you think they come to the offensive coordinator and say, "Hey, can y'all run the offense pretty good without Amari Cooper?" Don't you think he has a say in that?
Yeah, you think? Oh
Put him
yeah,
on
let's let our offensive coordinator make all the decisions for us.
Not make all the decisions. We ask him, "Can this offense?"
I'm gonna get fired,
Hey, is there-
but guess what? My
No,
offensive coordinator
Jer-
made this decision.
This is what Jerry says. He's like, "Hey, he's like, hey, not Kellen Moore. Is there any way that this offense?"
Do
can
you
run
know how
without Amari Cooper?"
organizations work?
That's what he's doing. It's a family business. He's like, "Hey, Kellen Moore."
It's a family business. Did you say?
Yes. Yes.
Everybody
Is-
makes the
is there-
decision.
I mean, it's family. Yeah.
Well, the Cowboys is
He's like, is there any way that this offense can run smoothly without Amari Cooper? Is there any way? Well, coach, maybe there is. Maybe if you take him out and focus on Tony Pollard and all that. So, okay, I think we'll trade him because we needed more of the money to pursue other opportunities. And so he's like, okay, I guess we can do that. Kellen Moore gave a sign off.
Were you
So
there?
what did Kellen Moore?
Oh,
Are you
allegedly.
wait, are you in on this? Are you in their group chat?
Oh,
That's what happened.
allegedly.
I know Jerry Jones. Me and him are like this. I know this guy. That's what
This
he
is
said. And
let me
Absurdity.
get my
I don't
grade.
know who else is listening, but please help me. I need somebody with me.
I'll say Jonathan persuaded me to change my grade a little bit because I didn't know that Moore's experience was originally as a quarterback coach for a year and then straight to offensive coordinator. But I think Jared, you said like for how many years he's been in that position and the Cowboys been competitive and been have one of the top offenses. It changed my opinion from A+ to A for the Chargers.
sorry.
You influenced him.
No.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So I'm not as sure because I haven't seen him bounce around between teams and changing environments a big factor. But I think John, you hit it on the head. One of them was playing to win, not to lose, and like that's just something that Jerry we've talked about. Like the Chargers just haven't had that spark. And I'm not saying one guy can bring it, but that's that if they let him do the play calling and the way he did with better weapons, the way he did with the Cowboys, but with better weapons, I think with the Chargers. I think it's going to be an A pairing.
Mm-hmm.
The reason it was a plus because my thinking was what we talked about before the Cowboys game was you change coaches with Jason Garrett now the Mike McCarthy, you had Romo, and you had Dak, and like the only two denominators that are the same was over the past couple of years. I know I mentioned Romo, but the two things that are the same is Jerry Jones making a lot of the personnel decisions and decisions in general, and Dak Prescott. So I looked at the game if they lost that first to the Buccaneers as a referendum not on Mike McCarthy but on Dak's status as a quarterback. And I like Dak the man, but that was my, as an outside perspective, that was my thinking. And the second is it's probably not going to change is Jerry Jones is good at making a lot of the draft picks. He has a lot of control in that organization, which is why Jonathan has a point where it's like a bit of a family business, like a bit buddy kind of thing. But one of the things is, the more control Jerry Jones has had, they have not reached the higher echelons yet. So that's one of the only other common denominators. So if he were to give it up and allow himself to do that, maybe we'll see more success for the Cowboys. But as an Eagles fan, I'm content with those things staying the same. So I do think him going to the Chargers is a blunder on the Cowboys' part because I think if Jonathan's right about him just being good because of Dak, that is a blunder for the Chargers. But I think you'll find those skills transfer over well. So I think the Chargers got a great pickup.
You know what? I hope the Chargers make the playoffs, and I hope the first play they run is that last play the Cowboys run. They ran against the 49ers. I hope that's the first play. Then we'll be looking at it. I'll look at you.
Eckler snapping the ball, you just get run over.
Then the person that catches you just gets tackled as soon as he gets the ball. Like
You think that's why he got fired? They were like, "Wow, that was an embarrassment."
Yeah,
in
that
the
was pretty
Cowboys
much out of all the
Association.
plays.
I think that's why, and it's a bad reason because I mean,
That's
I think it was
offensive coordinator
poorly
that-
executed. Why did you throw it? Why did you throw it to the receiver who was like unblocked? You had three other linemen. That's more
what
on
the-
execution.
that's
You're a
what
coordinator.
happens.
You're not on the field.
Yeah, that's what happens when you tell them to hire your best friend as the offensive coordinator. That's what happened. He just drew that up, and it's
All right, Jerry Jones
alright,
doing
alright.
something.
it was probably Friday night. He's just drawing. He's like, oh, let me see some random play I can do. Like, okay, no, that could work. Let's try it out. And he's like, that didn't work out as well. It's like,
So you think Mike McCarthy will do better than Kellen Moore?
nah, man, he's won a Super Bowl. Yeah, sure. This is
What
this
about-
is the time where he earns that head coaching title. It's the time.
Okay.
Last one. I mentioned it before. Nathaniel Hackett hired as the offensive coordinator for the New York Jets. Now, the New York Jets had a tough season. They started out good with Brees Hall. Zach Wilson was playing okay. And then midseason hit, and that offense just tanked. Now, they did have some bright spots. Garrett Wilson's definitely that wide receiver one. But the offense still needs a lot of help because they don't have a quarterback yet. Mike White was there, that he did okay, but is he really going to be the future? Hiring Nathaniel
Zach
Hackett.
Wilson.
Jimmy
What?
G.
Zach Wilson. You got to give Zach Wilson a chance.
No,
People
Jimmy-
are just
No, he's done.
Just get
He's-
Jimmy
Dude,
G. And,
What? He's
and-
done.
Just get
He's
Jimmy
done.
G.
So
Come
mean.
on.
He's
Yeah,
only had
okay,
like
well-
one or two seasons. Guys, come on.
He's
now.
done. He's done. I've seen enough. Nathaniel Hackett, hiring Nathaniel Hackett, in my opinion, because he was the former quarterback coach for the Packers, I think they're going to try and make a run at Aaron Rodgers.
Yep, that's all this
like
is.
a last pitch.
That's all
That's what
this
they
is.
said about the Broncos too.
Yeah,
though.
I heard that.
That's all
I heard
this
that.
is trying to get Rodgers.
Yeah, and if it fails, then they're
He's out.
stuck. They're stuck with the Nathaniel Hackett. That's, in my opinion, is not great. So I'm going to give this one like a C minus.
Yep, that's
Like,
exactly.
close to-
I might actually
If
give it
if
D.
if they don't get Rodgers, oh my
F,
F,
it's a
this was
fail.
terrible. He's the worst.
It can't be that hard on him. I'd give it a C because I think there are qualities that made him be a head coach, and so I think, I'm assuming the man loves football, wants to prove himself again. Like a bit of that hunger will be good for the Jets, and if brings those qualities to the Jets in a good way, I think it could be interesting. But fair enough with the quarterback position, but that's not really in his entire control. But we'll see.
The guy is a pure pawn of a person. He was taken from the Packers
my.
to the Broncos so that they could make a run for Rodgers. Didn't work out. Now the Jets get him to be offensive coordinator just so that they could try to make a run for Rodgers. It's not going to work out. This is a D grade. And the only thing that's going for him is that he has Garrett Wilson and Brees Hall, which are two great young players that are going to make him look pretty good. But he's not that great of a coach, in my opinion.
Brees is coming off an ACL injury, so you never know how
True,
good he's going to
true.
be.
I'm always bullish on James Robinson. I like James Robinson.
Yeah, I give this a solid C. He's not that great of a coach, and yeah, I don't think he can really ship that offensive culture there. Let's see if they get Aaron Rodgers. If they get Aaron Rodgers, that'll be great. We'll see what happens. But I think Aaron Rodgers did a lot of the work, and he got a lot of the credit, basically.
Like who's the I'm not saying he's a pawn, but with the Raiders, who's the Raiders head coach?
Josh McDaniels.
McDaniels. Yeah, I was like, it's not O'Brien, but I believe one of the narratives. Now this isn't from particular source, but like the Broncos have been trying a lot to. I'm not saying they're trying to buy wins, but like they really wanted Rodgers to come to the Broncos. They got Wilson instead. They got Peyton. They're willing to invest a lot to get star power and talent and boost the brand too, of the team. And the Raiders, to my understanding, one of the ideas was with McDaniels, like keeping him, despite how bad the Raiders were, letting Carr go as a way to bring Brady in, allegedly.
Yeah.
I
So
thought about
who knows
that.
what they do now?
I
Now
thought
that
about
Brady
that.
retired, that
That's
was one of the themes.
That's a Jimmy G place that I could see. I could see Jimmy G in the black uniforms for sure.
I
don't think they
really
should do
think
that.
Jimmy G's going to the Jets. I could see him in the green.
I could see that too.
I think he could be a great, one of those upper echelon backups, like a
he's
Jameis
not-
Winston type backup.
Oh, a backup? You don't think he can start?
He can start if you want what you're gonna get. Like what you're gonna get at this point.
You need to
And-
you need to give him weapons.
And but we went to the Super Bowl with weapons too, and Kittle and all that. It's just, is he a kind of leader that teams will want to build a franchise around? I think we know at this point.
True.